So we ended up having this wild night, getting paralytic, and ended up going back to theirs anyway. And I was demented. But then I remember sitting in the middle of the two of them, and I was like, this is starting to get slightly weird now. And I was like, I was feeling like I was being groomed slightly. And I was like, this is just mad. And then I remember they were like, we've got a standalone bath and we love to have baths. Do you want to have a bath with us? And I remember I was obviously feral and just young and be like, yeah, cool, let's go for it. And then I thought in my head, how'd you get into a fucking bath and look gracious? Like, have you ever sat in a bath and looked attractive? On, like, imagine. And also, how are we going to cover ourselves with bath water? Like, it was a big bath, but I was like, I'm going to be like jowls out, like half immersed in this water, and you think you're going to be attracted to me and I'm going to be attracted to you as well.
Hello, welcome back to another episode of Dating, Laughter and Disasters with me, Lulu Johnson, a show that's all about the highs and lows of modern dating, and on this podcast, we're laughing about it. Joining me from the Cork City studios, we have Aisling. How are you, Aisling?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm very well, thanks.
It's great to see you again.
Great to see you again, Aisling, because we actually have known each other for 20 odd years.
20 years, I'd say.
I first met you when I was 11.
That's so mad, isn't it? And look where we are now. The last time we saw each other
was in February, exactly.
In Mexico.
So, lads, I went off on a solo trip to Mexico, and I walk into a Thai restaurant down in the most random beach area of Mexico, and who's sitting there, scalded red by the sun? Oh, the
scalded. And I'll never forget it. I saw you and I didn't want to be rude, and I was like, this is so lovely to see you. And then I was like, I'm going to be violently ill, and I had to literally look at you, and you were with this other couple, and I was like, lovely to see you, but I was like seeing stars. And I remember I was like, I'm going to be sick, and ran out and actually ended up fainting on the fucking ground. And I was so embarrassed because I saw you then the next day. I was scalded, blistering all over.
As red as ginger spice.
I was like her there.
You were literally ginger spice.
I was like, oh, my stomach is wet. It was so gross. But yeah, I was mad. And sure, then we hung out. We basically lived together then for a few days, didn't we?
Yeah, it's wild, isn't it?
We had such a good time.
Like, the world is a village.
It was slept in the same bed.
Smaller. Like, yeah, I finished my trip in the bed with you.
Yeah.
Do you know?
Isn't it crazy?
Yes, isn't it?
Small world.
And so, Aisling, as I start with every episode, well, we should probably cheers, actually.
Oh, yeah, we should. Did we even do that? We didn't.
Cheers.
It's so nice.
So we got some takeaway pints, lads, from the bar downstairs. The barman was, this is what happens in Cork. You wouldn't get this in Dublin, would you? This
of course not.
Good behaviour.
Do you know?
I haven't had it yet. No talking. We have a live show here, actually. I've got my sister.
The audience. The big audience.
We'll hear you. We have one audience member, and she's our biggest fan, aren't you, sister?
Oh, biggest fan. Right.
So, as I was saying, Aisling, I start every episode by asking my guests who you are, how long have you been in Berlin, but you are not in Berlin, you're in
London. Sure, of course.
And what is your current dating status?
Oh, my current dating status is single, and I will die single.
Yeah,
I'll always be single.
It's come to that point in our lives, isn't it? That you just think we're done.
I'm just like nearly accepting it now, that it's just going to happen. And this is an epidemic. And this is going to be the new generation where women are going to end up being single. Oh, and just,
But a statistic came out that in 2027, women aged between 25 and 40, 50% of women aged between 25 and 45 will be single and child-free.
That, like, it doesn't surprise me.
Yeah. It's sad,
mad, isn't it?
In a way, it's sad, but it's like, yay,
sad.
Freedom that we don't need to put up with bad.
Yeah, what is it? A catch-20? I don't know.
Yeah, it's catch-22 really. Like, is it good?
But it is. It's hard though, isn't it? And you try and keep dating because you're like, I'll just keep, but it's like flogging a dead horse. And I feel like the longer and further you go on dating, the more bitter you end up becoming because it's just so crap out there. But I don't know, like one of the girls, she went to a singles dating thing that happened actually in London. And there's so many of them now, it's like saturated. And she went to one and she was like, it was all hot girls. And then it was like 3 men. There was one Russian man who was like 55 trying to crack on to like 22-year-olds who was being borderline creepy to the point that like the staff had to tell him to like calm down a little bit. And then there was some other guy and like, she was saying the same thing. She was like, listen, we're all catches here and what's going on. I just don't like men don't go to these dating things because
No.
I think they're like too afraid and it's too much pressure and it's putting them on the spotlight. They don't like that.
And it's making them look vulnerable. It's like, oh, I want a partner, but I can't show it that I want one, so I'm not going to go to
So
these
I'm not
singles
gonna
events.
go.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Because you're based in London. I forgot to mention that part in the intro. You've been in London for how long?
5 years now.
Oh, wow.
5 years. And
how's
like
your English?
getting there. You still can't understand me. But yeah, in terms of dating over there, like it was fun at the start. It's like being in a new candy shop, like, and you think it's really exciting. And then after a while, you flog all the dating apps to the point that then you go off them and you come back on them. And then you see the same guys and they're like, welcome back. And when they say welcome back, you're like, this is the end.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I've tried every dating app and then went off them for a period and then went back on a new dating app that started that everyone's talking about. It's called Breeze, which so basically it's taken out the kind of like chat out of dating. So like you match with someone and then you put in both of your schedule when you're both free and you both pay £10 each. So your first drink is paid, the location is set, it's in the diary, and then you just have to turn up there. And like I did it and I matched with a guy. And like, to be honest, I matched with him and I shouldn't have matched with him because I just said yes, but I said in my heart, I really wouldn't want to go on a date with him. And then basically the time goes on. He paid his money. He booked in the date. And then I was given one more day to basically make up your feckin' mind. And I didn't. And then I got a warning to be like, this is your final warning. We don't accept this behavior. You either turn up and show up 100% or else you're gone. And you know what? On reflection, it was better because that's what they're trying to get rid of, like swiping aimlessly of people that oh God, I wouldn't really go on a date with him, or vice versa. And then it cuts it out. So if you commit, you have to show up and you have to go.
And sorry, how long do you have to converse with these people before you decide you want to go on the date with them?
So like you have 3 days basically to make, like, to schedule a date, pay money. And if you don't, then you're gone. But there's no chatting. And then I was thinking to myself, God, I hate chatting, but I also want a little bit of conversation, like, so you can kind of figure out where you're at. So I don't know. I was like, I can't say, like, I'm on a warning now. So I was like, Jesus, you really have to be serious about this. But then my friend went on a date from it. She said it was good, but like she wouldn't go on a date with the guy again. But I suppose it is kind of filtering things out a little bit. So,
but I think apps have had their days anyway because there's so many offline events now, even in London. You know, this one board of dating apps?
But that's what my friend went to and said it was like 80% girls and there was like a few guys then just around. And I've seen now they're really pushing on TikTok.
Speaking of TikTok, you are a TikTok sensation.
You're a TikTok sensation.
You're a fucking sensation.
You're a sensation. Not me. I wasn't by choice. I just get trolled because every man hates me on it. So that's why I get the views.
But you have a big following on TikTok though, and you have like millions of views and stuff. Like you're a bit of a hit out there.
Well, it's views because I've actually I know what is tapping into the algorithm, and dating stories are what people want. Like I did one the other day about like running and trying to like get into fitness or something, literally 500 views. But if I do something on like
500,000,
500.
Wow.
And then if I do something and I'll just say, I went on a date with this guy, I don't know, it just taps into it. It will just spring up. And if you say the word dating or disaster or I've got a story about dating, it just obviously reads it and it pushes it, like the algorithm pushes it out, whereas they're not interested in anything else. But also TikTok, I found out what they do is if you do something like whatever theme, if it's food, it clicks into that theme and it will only push that theme out for you if you've got a theme. If you try and veer away from it and start to like get ready with me clothing or whatever, they don't push it out. So they only want the same kind of avenue.
And do you find anyone on TikTok in the comments wants to go on a date with you? Or
yes, actually, there was a guy who actually was. Well, actually, if he sees this, that would be kind of awkward. But actually, he seemed like a nice guy. Messaged me and was like, "Do you want to go on a date? I saw your videos." He's from Cork.
Oh,
and
funny.
Then he was like, "But I'm sober." Which I just don't know, because I went on a few dates with a guy who was sober, and at the start it was all lovely, but then I'd go for dinner at his and then I'm like having drink, and it's not like I'm an alcoholic, but it just puts a slight different tone on things. And it's not that I'm like delighted for someone if they don't want to drink, but just personally with me, I just think I would always feel awkward being like, am I drinking and am I
drunk
am
or
I
something?
or am I influencing him? Because he clearly doesn't, he can't drink because he's whatever decision he's made, he can't. I'm just like, it just made me awkward. But anyway, this guy was like, do you want to go on a date? Because he started doing videos on dating. And I've seen he does like videos about Cork and dating in Cork.
Is he Brazilian?
No, he's definitely, he's from north side of Cork.
Oh, interesting.
And he's like 37, newly single. But he started just putting up videos again, unedited, just of his face being like, just wanted a date with a girl there around the lock and stuff.
And this
somehow
is on TikTok
it was
and
on
Instagram?
TikTok. Yeah, TikTok.
Oh, you'll have to show me his
And that's
handle
why
later,
I was
but I'll
like,
look.
yeah, it's funny because he just is like, I'll start it. And obviously that's pushed, like I found him and he found me because it's obviously the same niche stuff, but funny. But yeah, haven't gone on a date clearly.
And so because you are like, because you're a bit of a sensation on TikTok, you have maybe it's a bit of
absolutely nothing.
You're a bit popular on it.
No,
but you have fucking hundreds of thousands of like followers.
Yeah, because people love to see people miserable.
Yeah.
So they love me to be ghosted. Like I'll go on and be like, heartbroken, I got dumped again. I swear they love it. Like they love misery. But no one likes happiness on TikTok.
No one wants to know about someone's happiness online.
No, they don't give a shit.
Man of my dreams and the butchers, and I'm like, fuck you.
Absolutely
anyway.
not.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Right. So you've got loads of miserable followers, but but because why are you on this Raya app then?
Oh, Raya, I went.
You're a DJ.
Oh no, it's just because it was a DJ, and I think I was accepted onto it when times were fairly tough. Because now I heard it's like impossible to get onto. I don't know. Like I think they pick and choose. Like I have a friend who tried getting on, and she's like 150,000 followers on Instagram, and I referred her. She didn't get accepted.
Oh. And are you still on it?
And I was on it, but once you've got a membership, you have a membership for life. But like it's £15 a month, right? And like you go on and it's just like a spreadsheet like of like all these professional footballers and their professional photos, right? All of them. And it's not even like real life. And they're all like, oh, I want to meet someone, I want to date. And like now it's the whole thing is like you can put your likes on what you don't like, and literally their likes are yachts and stuff. Like they put up or like Soho House and stuff, and it's just like trash.
Yeah, okay.
And no one really chats. And if they do, then it's like it's just grim. Like straight away they're like, what's your Instagram handle? You know what I mean? But also as well, I nearly got banned from there. I got a warning as well from there because if you take a screenshot, you get warnings. And I got like 2 because I screenshotted. There was a football and there was someone else dancing with the stars who my mom loves. So I was like, I'll send it on to her. And you do it like without even thinking. You're like screenshot match, or you know, Sam Fender's on it, Paul Mescal, like the celebrities are on it. Like it's definitely the big shots, but you just do it without thinking, and then they warn, and then they're like final warning.
If Paul Mescal has to be on a dating app, we're all fucked.
I exactly. That's it. If he's on it.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is mad.
A friend of mine was in school with him.
Stop. Yeah. Actually, weirdly enough, when I was on the way to Glastonbury, I was sitting across the table from we were sitting down in a 4-seat. It was so mad. And this guy was next to me, and he was actually a ride. And then obviously all my gay friends were around us, and they were like, your man next to you. They were like, he's a ride. And I was like, I know he's a ride. So anyway, we were like chatting. It was like kind of awkward. And he was like, anyway, do you want a can? And I was like, oh, that's great. You know, it's like the icebreaker. And then we're like kind of chatting. And then I was like, I kind of recognize your face. And he was like, weirdly enough, I know your face too. And I was like, is he just this hot man that I've seen on a dating app? And then I was like, let's put each other's names in Instagram, right? So I searched him, and my friend it's the only friend in common. And I was like, how do you know her? And he was like, oh, we went to school together. And then I just remembered, I was like, oh my God. I was like, I know you. And he was like, what? And then I was like, I remember he was a patient in A&E. He basically fell off a scooter, knocked out his teeth. And I remember seeing him and speaking to him and being his triage nurse and being like, he is so unbelievable, so stunning. And he was like, I remember you, you're looking after me. And then I was like, oh my God, we're going to get married. This is going to be the best story. And then obviously the lads were egging me on. They were like, he can't take his eyes off you. I was like, there's no one else to speak to. Like, he's speaking to me. But then they kept it saying, and then we went our own separate ways. And then we'd keep on bumping into each other at the most random places. And then never saw each other. And then he was like, add me on Instagram, add me. Never accepted me. And the lad said it, if a man doesn't accept you, right, for a few days, he either has a girlfriend or there's something going on, right? And what happened on the last night, I was on my way, like I could barely see. And I looked and I was like, oh my God, that's your man, the jaw guy. Cause we had said like he broke his jaw, blah, 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 Jaws himself. And then he was with a girl. So I was like, after all this time, he had a girlfriend. And then when he finally accepted me, like a week later, his whole page was a girl. And the thing is, he kept on being like, I suppose he just liked the attention. He was like, we should definitely meet up at Glasgow, and was definitely revving things on. But then obviously in hindsight, he was like, well, I have a girlfriend, so I'm just not going to accept her.
Isn't
But
it
I was
awful?
like, why did you like, was it just your ego you wanted to fill? Because he was definitely giving, the signal. But anyway, that's it. I was like, what a small fucking world.
Yeah. Oh, the world is tiny. Sure. I was out for Pride Parade last week, whenever, dancing my heart out on a bench in a crowd full of people. Next to me was this Italian guy, very like jet black hair, and he had this one little curl coming down, having a grand time with him, didn't really speak to him, but we were kind of dancing near each other.
Yeah.
And so friends have a video of me dancing, and so I just recognized, oh yeah, that was the guy. He was standing in security at the airport the other day in Berlin.
No way.
I was like, what are the
What?
chances? It always happens. And I had to check the video, but then he was like gone ahead, and then I couldn't see him anymore, because it would have been like kind of weird, but actually have a video of you on my
how
phone.
weird.
But I didn't do it. Like, and I mean, he was
What?
also gay, so I would have actually easily kind of gone up and be like, oh my God,
You
hey.
could have just spoken to him.
Yeah,
And just
do
be
you know
like,
what I mean?
Grant, that's
He's
such
so
a
funny.
small
Yeah, isn't it gas?
world.
Oh, it's tiny. This episode is sponsored by Dalriata, for all of your favourite Irish and British foods. Check them out now on dalriata.de or call into them on Vinstraza 32 in Prenzlauer Berg. Speaking of small world, like, well, do you have any crazy dating stories, small world dating stories from London or anything?
Small world dating stories, like,
or just funny, wild.
just like I'd start trying to date more Irish men. And I went on a date with a guy from West Cork over in London, and I was so happy because he knew all the same places, and we went on a date. And the longer I hung out with him, the longer I was like, he's an absolute pothole. Like, he was the biggest pothole I've ever met. Like, anywhere, like something you'd swerve to avoid. Do you know what I mean? When you're on the road, you'd swerve to avoid a pothole.
He was live audience in stitches here.
I was literally like, he is someone you'd fucking avoid. Like, 39, stunning looking. Like, when I saw him, he brought me to the big, it was honestly like a Wetherspoons. No shame to Wetherspoons, like, but it was an absolute shithole. And he was just like all about like lads, pints, like, how many pints would you drink in a night? I'm like, what kind of fucking question is that? And then basically I got up to get a pint, and then he said to me, like, you having another Guinness? And I was like, yeah. And he goes, did that make your fanny flutter?
You can say it.
Fanny flutter.
Okay.
And I said to him, I was like, I need to get air. And he was like, oh, like, why? And I was like, because that actually upset me so much. The fact that you just said that to me is so fucking bizarre.
It's so immature.
And so immature. So we didn't see each other, and it was just, yeah, it just got worse and worse. And yeah, so dating has been non-existent all summer, really. But I did go back on the dating apps over here. When I say the dating apps, I went on to Field. Oh, yeah. Over here, I've had like, I've been off in Cork, right? But I literally, I thought she was clapping. I was like, well done, you're back on the dating. One clap. I was like, wow, that really got you going. Well done. But I was like, look, I'll go on. Obviously my parameters was up to 100 miles, because obviously no one's on Field here, and the ones that are like Satan worshippers, like, they're quite scary. But I matched with this guy. I don't fucking care. I hope he watches this anyway, because waster. Anyway, stunning looking pictures, right? And was all so nice, very open, sending me messages. He was like, oh my God, like, first of all, can we chat, blah, blah, blah. Like, I want to be open with you. I've just come out of a relationship, but like, I'm really keen to date. I haven't dated much, but like, and I was like, before you say anything, I don't live here. So like, I just want to put out there. He was like, no problem. I live in Clare, but like, look, it's only 2 hours away. I can spin down. It's no problem. So nice. And like, when I was away, he kept on messaging me, and he was like, just after buying his own barge boat, right? Which is quite like totally different to the cliche man in Ireland. So I was like, this is really interesting. And he showed me his boat, like sent me pictures of the boat. And I was like, this is really nice, great interiors, because like, that's something that I look for as well.
The
the interiors and, the plants and the, whatever. So then he had that, and I was like, that's great. And then he rings me and he was like, oh my God, I know you're in Valencia Island with your parents. I've got connections with these boats people. I'll ring them because like I would love you and your family to have a lovely time. And I was like, God, this is amazing. And he was like, yeah, like if you're around Sunday, like perfect, we'll see each other, no problem at all. And I was like, Sunday's the only day. Anyway, he said to me, I hope this isn't a problem for you, but I'm 5'7". I'm sorry. I said I knew it was too good to be true. Like I just knew. I was like, this guy is fake. Like, and then he said, and it honestly, my vagina shriveled inside me, and it was like 5'7". Like and you know what? It's the same fucking thing. It's the same as the the hatfishes. We call them hatfishes.
What's a hatfish?
Where you're a catfish, but you're a hatfish. So you wear hats in every picture. You're a hatfish. There's hatfish, like they're everywhere, right? You see them. He's like a fucking body fish, right? Because I honestly saw it, and I'm such a pro to spotting the small men, okay? And I'm like, just put it on the thing that you're a small man, okay? Because then I've to the investigations, like they'll always have a picture by a door, right? And if you have a picture by the door, I'll always measure by the handle where their body placement is on the handle.
Smart.
And he had a picture, and it was like a handle or whatever. And I was like, his hip bones now and the handle, like his head is nearly touching the feckin' the handle, like. And I was like, he's very short. And also every picture that he had was cut in half. Cut in half, can't see the body. And also another clue, if you're small, you'll never be in a picture with another person, because you're always going to be the small one, won't you?
But would you be turned off by this 5'7" fella?
Listen, if they're 5'8", like I'm 5'8", 5'8", I'll take it. Okay, I've obviously negotiated a lot in my life, right? And
So
I would do that.
For the Europeans, that's about 177 centimeters. Do you know it?
Yeah.
Okay.
About that, that's fine. But 5'7". And look, I kept my options open. I was like, I'll give him a chance. He seems like such a nice person. He's doing so much. He's driving down to see me. Sure, then last night he was out with one of the lads and he was like, yeah, I've decided it's quite a commitment to drive to Cork. It's a 4-hour round trip. Sorry, hun, I told you 3 days ago where I lived. Like, it's not like I moved to another place, right? And he was like, so I've just decided I think it'd be nicer if you got the train up to fucking Clare. I didn't even know you could get the train up there, and I'll collect you. We could have a few hours here. He goes, I could have a few pints as well. Again, all about you, hun, is it? Even though, bear in mind, I've traveled back from London. I don't even live in the fucking country.
Yeah.
And then he was like, so we can have a few pints. I can show you my barge and I can drop you home in the morning. Sorry, like also as well, I know it's field and we're all open to this, okay? But I was very clear that I was like, I'm not up for hookups. Like, I'm only on Field because like Field is like Hinge. It's like a very generic app now in London. And he was saying the same, like, I want to date. I'm out of, and then literally I was like, absolutely. I just had this feeling inside me. I was like, you're full of shit. So I was like, no, first of all, I wouldn't travel to Clare on a first date to meet someone. Mm-hmm. My time is limited here. And also I was like, you actually said that it was no problem. And he was like, it would be too rushed. And I like to be in bed for 10. I was like, no problem.
That would be the red flag for me.
The fact that you say you want to be in bed for 10, it's a no-go.
Yeah.
So both of us then, he was like, anyway, enjoyed the rest of your few days. But bear in mind, he was bombarding me. He literally was like, cut, and I cut, and that was it.
And doesn't it ruin you? Doesn't it just kind of make
and you're just so, like, why bother? Like,
it's so untrusting.
That's what I mean.
People. Yeah.
What's Field?
So for the audience member who's asking what Field is, it's a sex positive app. It's mostly for hookups. It's popular in Berlin. I'm
in London now. It's literally, it's so generic and so mainstream. All the people that are on Hinge go on to Field. It's like, it's not even a hookup in London anymore. Maybe it is more so in Berlin.
Yeah.
It's very like, everyone is like, I'm sick of like how boring Hinge is and no one talking. So here I am on Field, and people will be more open. They're like, I either want a friends with benefits, I want a long-term relationship. Also couples are on it. There's a lot of like open couples, or guys being like, I'm here for the weekend from Berlin and I just want to hook up. But at least people are honest. And they say, or there's other people like, I'm looking to date and to see where it goes. Or there's someone like, literally, I saw a guy actually the other day, match with him, and he's from Cork. He has the first ever ethical porn site. I don't know what that means.
Ethical porn, it's obviously
like opposed to what though?
Well,
like
porn
is orange,
so,
but like
it's probably more. I wonder what ethical. Family friendly.
Family friendly porn.
For all the family.
For all the family. Exactly. I was like, what does that even mean?
Yeah, to be fair, I wouldn't know enough about porn.
Better, or like they get a good wage, or
Yeah, there's probably just better rights with it. It's
Proper
probably just
better rates or
less.
something.
Yeah.
But yeah, like it was just one day, and then a match with another guy, which I was laughing. He's like to me, "Were you on the Evening Echo there last year?" I was like, "Sorry." He was like, "Did you do a thing on people abroad in London?" And he was like, "How are you getting over? How are you getting on over in the UK?" I love how people in Cork call like London the UK.
The UK,
The
yeah,
UK
yeah.
as if like it's a million
foreign
foreign land.
Yeah.
How are you getting on over it? And I was like, "How do you remember?" Like, I don't read the paper, but he was like, "Yeah, I just remember your face from it and
but
talk about it."
Be chill, man. Don't be saying it until you meet. Maybe after like the third date, it's like, I actually knew who you were from the newspaper.
But
and
you
I
could
think
just
you're
say
good.
it. But the opening line, "Were you in the Evening Echo? Were you?"
God.
I was like, Jesus Christ.
You've not lived in Cork for many years, right?
I haven't either, but weirdly enough, I haven't lived in like 10 years, and I'm always drawn to Irish men. I do think they're the best crack, but now after dating loads of Irish men in London, I just feel the older that they become single, the more stuck in their ways they become.
Like us, though.
And like us.
Yeah.
And I say it as well, like, you know, I'm giving out about guys. I'm a problem too. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's things now that I'm like, oh, you need to change that. You need to be a bit easier. Or like there's things I won't negotiate on. And it's like,
Yeah.
come on. But it's also that you've been single for so long,
Yeah,
isn't it?
you know what suits you. You don't want to. You don't
You don't
want
want
to
to change
compromise
that.
anymore, which is bad. But actually, going back to like being 5'7", is that a massive ick for you? Like what are your other icks if you? Because to be fair, I have lowered my standards to actually dating fellas who are 171 centimeters, which is about 5'5", and
Would you?
I have done it in the past, but like it just hasn't gone anywhere for
But
whatever reason.
yeah, but then what's different is I think if I had met this guy who was 5'7" in a bar,
Yes, in
and he
person it'd be different.
gave
Yeah.
if he gave that like really charismatic, confident energy, I actually would probably like him. But because we're so stuck to the tick boxes on the app, likes this, oh, he's a hiker, that means he's into the outdoors, or this, he looks like a sesh person, or like he's a fuck boy, you know. Whereas going back to actually meeting people in real life, I probably would date someone. I would be more open, and I think I have totally changed my like non-negotiables. Whereas before I would have been like, even people like that wouldn't drink, I would be like, oh, they have to drink. Now I'm like more open to it. Obviously it's never worked out for me, but I would. And same with you. Like, think about the guys that you date.
Yeah, but it's annoying because I've had to change up my taste. But like a friend of mine said to me once years ago now, but she was like, maybe your standards are too high. And I'm like, my standards are 6 foot under.
But this is what I mean, though. People, that's what it gets to the point. You're like, you know, when you're not meeting guys, or like I meet guys, I meet actually lovely guys as well in London, and I just don't feel a spark. And we can all say it. We could be married 6 times if we wanted to, but we just chose not to. It's not like
we have our own
we're
standards
just,
now. Like we don't put up with bullshit
that's
anymore.
it. And it's not like we go on dates and they're all terrible. Like there's just no spark, or for whatever reason, and that's fine. But then I also think to myself, I'm like, are my standards, am I getting older? And I'm just like, not kind of accepting that I'm getting older, and are my standards crazy that like I'm just not going to meet that type of person that I'm just wanting to meet.
I mean, you want what every woman wants, is a nice fellow with decent values who's got a sense of humor and isn't a fucking shithead. Like,
That's
it's
it.
the basics.
That's it.
And that should be something that should just be expected, that you have good values and that you're not a shithead. Some people might not want the sense of humor. I couldn't imagine a relationship or friendships without sense of humor. But like, we all just want the basics, the stuff that we shouldn't even be having on our list, because that should be the basic thing of a decent guy actually shows up to a date, doesn't mistreat me, and is just a nice, kind person.
This,
you know
but
I mean?
this is it. It's mad. And I don't know. But also what I find is interesting is, and my brother said this, and it is actually true. Like, when you live in London, it's like having 17,000 different desserts every single day, right? No one wants to settle down because there'll always be someone else better. But he said it, and it's the same thing. If you look at small villages and small towns, right? Everyone gets married at 2021 because the pool is so small. You have less choice. But I'm not saying they're not happy. They probably are happy. But when you have a smaller town, a smaller city, you just end up being like with the people that are in front of you. And weirdly enough, any of the girls who have lived away for years, majority of them have moved home in the past year or two. A lot of girls I went to school with that lived in London, Dubai. And they would be girls now that were like, I'll never find an Irish guy. They always dated like English lads who were like creatives. And honestly, in the past 6 months, two of the girls madly in love with two Irish fellas. And then one of the other girls never had a boyfriend really. And she met an English guy who was basically working over here,
Oh,
and they matched at a dating app. And now he's moving from London over to here to her.
oh, that's nice, isn't
And I'm
it?
like, how mad is that?
Like we were saying the other week, is like, though dating is just a numbers game as well. You can put in all the effort that you want, like we've been doing, but we
Mhm.
remain single, and then you just don't put in any effort. You swipe once on Bumble. Like a friend of mine who's also never had a relationship before, now she's in a 12-month relationship, now living with her boyfriend. She gone from 0 to 100 just from on Bumble. So just like that, she had not planned to meet the love of her life that night while swiping. She
That's
just met
mad.
him.
And she
So
just met him.
yeah, it's just a numbers game. You can put in all the effort you want, and you don't get anywhere, and then you just step out the front door and it happens. Like,
You just meet someone.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
I
it's
think
like,
it's
do you
going to
do
that's
nothing,
it.
or do you do everything that you can? Do you know what I mean? Because I feel like I've done everything I can.
Yeah,
now.
that's I'm exactly like you, and I feel like I've done it all. So now I've got to the point that I'm like, I don't even think about it, and I don't even want, not even want to, but I'm like, I'm just going to stay off these apps because I don't know. Even though I just don't know how you'd meet someone, because I just feel like as you get older, your social circle as well, your friends aren't going on the mad nights that you used to. Now it's going for small plates and wine. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
going for dinner, going for
And
wine, going home.
and then going straight home. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So you just
But
don't.
here's the thing: last night, sister and I went out to a
Yeah,
wine bar,
go on.
and we were standing outside. It was a nice evening, and we were just checking the wine. And these two young fellas around our age, I just turned to them. I said, "Lads, can you recommend any white wine?" Like, I know nothing about it.
Yeah.
Sister does. Sister actually has studied wine. She knows about it. But I was like, it's just a good.
Did you?
She studied wine.
Amazing. She studied wine.
She studied wine.
Love that.
I just wanted to have a chat with them. I wanted to see how it would be, because I don't do it in Berlin, so I'm exhausted by Berlin. Couldn't be bothered. So now I'm making more of an effort when I come home. Anyway, got talking to these two lovely brothers. One of them is 10 years younger. The other one was married. It doesn't matter. We had a chat. Then our mom came along, had a glass of wine with us, having a laugh. We continued on. Mother went home, and we went on to the pub with the lads. Had loads of contacts with them. They're from another side of town to where we're from. We had loads of contacts with them, didn't we?
Really?
And that's what it's all about. For me, it was not with the intention of, like, I didn't even fancy any of them. I just wanted to talk to strangers.
Yeah.
And so, like, I now have stickers that are called, that say certified hot, that I have gone around with in, it was actually at Gay Pride last week, and I went around and I gave it to the lads with the stickers. Now I was drunk as fuck, so like, you had a bit more
Yeah,
confidence
amazing.
doing it.
You're a bit more buzz about you.
Yeah, but like, it's just a new approach, because I'm not on the apps at all. And
Good.
and now that we're here, like, we're going out this evening, like, I want to just talk to people with no intention of anything.
No, and
Just-
that's it.
It's getting used to approaching people. Do you know what I mean? But so that's what we need to do, especially when you're in Cork and small places like that. I mean, I can only speak for me when I say I am exhausted by Berlin. Like, I've booked flights to go to Manchester by myself next month, because I actually just want to go over and have some crack.
Oh my God. I was going to go away as well in September. I was like, I wanted to go away for just 3 fucking days,
Yeah.
and just like, and walk in. And even when, weirdly enough, when I was in Valencia, went to a pub, and we've been cycling all day. And then obviously it's such a, like, mom and dad and Tony were like, sure, I was like, I'm just going to go in for a pint there on my own. They're like, we'll all go in. I was like, you go home, like, sit down, lads. I just want to be on my own. They're like, but sure, you can't be on your own down here. Sure, I went in anyway, I had 2 pints. It was literally like Magnet City, like, not like anything, but like, people just talk to you when you're on your own. And it's the same, you know, from Mexico, like, when you're on your own, people gravitate towards you, and it is better. And it's not like, and the people I was talking to, it's not like they're going to be my husband. I was like, please talk to me, I'm single.
Yeah.
But people are more into chatting to you, and it is more organic, isn't it?
And it's like, when you're in travel mode, like, you are just in a different headspace. Like, I'm going to Manchester, and I'm going to go just talk to people, not down walking on the street. But I mean, I might sit at a bar by myself, or I'll go for dinner.
Yeah.
And I'll have the chats, because I know the Mancunians are so
They're
friendly.
so sound.
Do you know? And I need to get out of Berlin and that headspace.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So now coming to Cork, that's why I just happily said to the lads, what wine would you recommend?
But
I'm not being
that's
like,
so good.
you're coming home with me tonight, love.
Yeah.
Any more standout stories? Because you've been living in London for 5 years, and you were in Edinburgh before that.
I was
right?
in Edinburgh before that. In terms of dates, I went on a date with a guy before, and I've been chatting to him. He was an architect, and I remember he said to me, "I'll meet you before." I was DJing that night, and he was like, "I'll meet you before you go DJing." And I remember I used to go to this bar. I'd have a drink, I'd bring my, like, laptop and, like, get my set ready, and I knew the lads in there. It was just like, fine. And as I was in there, he was like, "I have something to tell you." He was like, "I hope you don't mind, but I'm actually going to bring my girlfriend on the date as well." Now, this is the times before open relationships or anything like Field. It was like we matched on Tinder. And I was like, sorry. And he was like, yeah, I wasn't being honest with you. I actually have a girlfriend, but we've actually just kind of like, we were going to break up, but we've decided to open the relationship to give it a chance. Do you want to meet her? And I was with the lads, and the lads were like, he's spoofing.
Oh my God.
And he was like, just bring them along. And I was like, fuck it, I'll see. Next minute, the two of them walk into the bar anyway. I was like, how are you getting on? I was like, okay, sat down. Really nice. And like, she was lovely, got on really well with her. And then after a while, I was like, I have to go DJing. They were like, fuck it, we'll come with you as well. Okay. So we ended up having this wild night, getting paralytic, and ended up going back to theirs anyway. And I was demented. But then I remember sitting in the middle of the two of them, and I was like, this is starting to get slightly weird now. And I was like, I was feeling like I was being groomed slightly. And I was like, this is just mad. And then I remember they were like, we've got a standalone bath and we love to have baths. Do you want to have a bath with us? And I remember I was obviously feral and just young and be like, yeah, yeah, cool, let's go for it. And then I thought in my head, how'd you get into a fucking bath and look gracious? Like, have you ever sat in a bath and looked attractive? On like, imagine. And also, how are we going to cover ourselves with bath water? Like, it was a big bath, but I was like, I'm going to be like jowls out, like half immersed in this water, and you think you're going to be attracted to me and I'm going to be attracted to you as well. Like, where are we going to put our legs? And then I was like, and they were stripping off, and I was like, lads, I'm really sorry, I'm just gonna have to head home. And they're like, don't worry about it, it's fine. Left. And I remember being like messaging the girl the next day and was like, listen, hope you're all good, but I think the two of you need therapy. Because I remember being on the date, I was like, it was literally like he was whispering, being like, I love her so much. And then she'd bring me to the toilet and be like, I can't stand him. And the reason we broke up is because I told him I was bisexual and I didn't want to be with him. And he thought the better result was us having an open relationship. He was obviously so desperate to keep it going. And the desperation was in his hands, in his eyes. Like, he was like, I'll do whatever she wants to do, so to make her happy.
Yeah.
But also, I'm in the middle of this being like, go on anyway. And it was just getting a bit awkward. And then I felt like slightly
Go
like
on.
I was like, I felt like they were trying to compete for my attention to make each other jealous. I was like, what the fuck is going on here? So I remember I was like, best of luck. And she was like, no, I think that was really good that this has happened, because I've realized I don't want to be with them. They ended up breaking up that week. And she was like, I don't want to be with them, I want to be with girls and stuff. And I was like, well, listen, explore it, but I definitely don't think you should keep it open, because I was fucking weird. And the bath situation, I was like, keep that to the two of you, or just, you know what I mean? I just keep it to yourself. I just don't think it's something you want to bring a third into. And she was like, yeah, point taken. Anyway, but what's weirder is I remember I used to have to get the bus then to work with your man. He was his place that he was working was like 2 stops on. And I remember I used to see him all the time, when we had to literally be like, hey. And then it got to the point we just mutually snobbed each other. And I was like, it's so mad that like he was stripping to get me into his bath. And now we're like strangers again. But yeah, there was a lot of weird things like that. And also when I went to London, only recently enough, this guy like matched with me, and he was like on Hinge. It wasn't like anything explicit. And he started being like,
unhinged or on
he was
Hinge?
on Hinge.
Ah, okay.
And like, he was saying to me, I'm moving to Australia, but like, I won't get a chance to meet you, but I'd love to stay in touch. And I was like, well, what do you want, a pen pal? Anyway, he went off to Australia, and he was like, hey, I'd love to give you money, right? And I was like, for what? And he was like, for absolutely nothing. I just would love to like chat to you, because I'm really lonely in Australia. Anyway, I was like, you're absolutely spoofing. Gave him my bank details, and he started like topping up my account like mad, like in a space of a few days. And then I was
sorry,
like,
are we talking 10 euros? 10
like
pounds?
100 every time. So like 400, like in like 2 or 3 days. And I remember 32,
Oh, wow.
really like dentist, really good looking, normal. And he was like, I just have that. I think, you know, it's that femdom thing where they love giving money, and they're
Yeah.
called pay pigs or whatever. And I never knew it was such a thing. And he was like, I really enjoy it. I had someone before. And I was like, right, that's fine. But then I remembered I went out for lunch with my friend one day, and he was bombarding me. He was like, please get home, I want to be able to chat to you. And I was like, I'm out with my friend. And he was like, how long will you be out with? Who are you out with? Started getting so controlling. And then I was like, now I can see it. Like, they turn into psychopaths, and they're obviously doing this because this must be unhinged. There has to be a reason. And then it got to the point that I was like, I had to block him, and I was like, you're fucking mental. But like, I did a video on TikTok about it, and then obviously saying the word femdom or whatever triggered something. I started getting so many like sugar daddies being like, I'll pay. They're obviously like bots or something, but like, and then girls being like, I've made so much money doing this, you can do it this way. I was like, you'd want to be fucking crazy to do it, because you have to be sitting at home and you have to be like willing to chat to them 24/7.
It's crazy. But sister, we went to a sauna in Berlin once, and
Yeah.
didn't we see a really old guy with a really young girl? It's creepy.
That just freaks me out.
Yeah.
Like that is like when you see them mega young. But also I'm after getting flashback as well. I did go on a date with a 53-year-old
Why?
over the summer.
This summer?
Yeah, I did. I was DJing for this private event there in May for these really like as a mega wealthy. The guy that I was DJing for, he was like, I'm having an Oxford reunion with 50 of my friends. Do you want to DJ at the party at this private members club in London? I was like, grand. And I was recommended through someone else. Anyway, I DJed in this like members club, Tory-esque, old-fashioned place, right? But I only DJed for 2 hours, but the people in there were fucking hilarious. Like they're all in their 50s. They're all like wealthy. They all look like each other because they've all also married each other. Like they're inbred nearly in my eyes, you know. They all had the same kind of like hair and whatever. And I did, and you know what? They were great crack. I had to sign an NDA and everything to DJ at this place. And they're all like, when I speak to them, I'm like, what's your job? And they're like, I can never say it, a philanthropist.
Philanthropist.
Yeah, they're all that. They're all like artists, but like they all live in old manors, you know, like the old, like they live in those places. So anyway, DJ'd at that. It was easy gig. 2 hours. I was sneaky out the side anyway. And I remember all night they were like, oh my God, like, are you single? Like, blah, blah, blah. I was like, yes, I am fucking single. They're like, oh my God, can't believe it, blah, blah, blah. We've got like, there's a few guys here tonight. And I was like, absolutely no, thank you. Like, they're all in Dickie bows and 3-piece suits. And I was like, not my cup of tea. So I snaked off the side anyway. And I was like, the taxi was coming along. Next minute I see a group of women and they're all in their ball dress and they're like, Aisling, come along with us to the party, right? And I was like, no. And they're like, you have to come.
Wait, they called you Aisling?
Yeah.
That's hilarious. Okay.
Yeah, I said Aisling like a million times and then I gave up. I was like, yeah, I'll just answer to Aisling. It's just easier. So I was like, yes. And they were like, come to the party. This party, it's in Chelsea. It's one of the most beautiful. And I was like, listen, I love an interior. Like, I'd love to check it out. So I was like, 100%. There's literally a man at the door literally with espresso martinis. So I was like, I'll have 7. So I was like holding them and I was like drinking and they were all pissed already. And next minute I get inside and I don't even remember, like, because I started getting drunk so quickly because I was like, I should not be here. Like, this is a different circle to what I'm used to. So then they're all out in the smoking area. And all I remember is like, I had a bottle of tequila, but I was swigging the tequila. They were obviously like, she's not from our kind of circle. So I was demented. And then they were like, there's one guy, he's really hot, blah, blah, blah. He's 53, but you wouldn't know. Next minute I saw this guy and I was like, he must be about 40. They were like, that's the guy that's single, never had been married. Anyway, he obviously I was told, he came over and was like, I would introduce myself. So hot, guys, looked about 40, like tanned, obviously never worked a day in his life. So there was no stress lines. He was just lovely, right? But like, obviously he looked like royalty, like, you know, he had that kind of look about him. Anyway, he was like, let's have a chat, blah, blah, blah. We're chatting away and I can't even remember. And then we got outside and I was like, there's a 24-hour club. Do you want to go to the 24-hour club? And there was all these other people as well. And they were all like, we could do what we want. We've got a babysitter and we're staying up here so we can fucking, they were like, let's buy loads of drugs and go wild. They're all in their 50s now, as if they'd lost their mind. Anyway, he's like, I'm going to interrupt you. Aisling and I aren't going to the club. I'd like to ask Aisling for a drink in my house. And I remember I was like, and at this stage, I was like, oh my God, I haven't been back to a guy's house. I wouldn't have a clue. But I was like, do you know what? Roll with it. So I went back to his place. He's pouring me this Japanese wine. I don't even drink wine. He was like, taste that. It was lovely. Next minute, I wake up in the morning in his place.
I saw this on your TikTok.
And I wiped my chin and I was like, oh my, now it was hot weather, but I was like, oh my God, I've dribbled all over myself. And I was like, God, I'm so wet. And he was like, oh my God, where am I? And I was like, and I don't stay in guys' house because I get so awkward. Like I can't deal with morning chat. And I was like, I need to get up. And he was like, no, let's stay for breakfast. And I was like, no, I need to get out of this house straight away. And then I went in, had a shower and I came back and I was like, what the fuck? Like my chin is still leaking. And he was like, oh my God, you're sweating. And I was like, oh, no, but there's something. Anyway, I didn't really realize I booked a taxi. He was like, I'll come out and drop you to the taxi like a fucking father with his child. And I then realized I was like, oh my God, I was just slept with a 50-year-old man. And he was like, he was like, I don't really do this. So he was like, I think we should go for dinner together. And I was honestly, I had all my DJ equipment as well. And I'm in the most affluent part of fucking Chelsea. Everyone's there with their dogs and their flowers. And I honestly, I was like Rod Stewart. My hair was standing in my head. I was like, oh my God. And then he was like to me, I do have to say your chin, something happened it overnight. And I was like, get into the fucking taxi, and then he was like to me, we should go for dinner. We didn't even exchange numbers. And he was like, please let me take your number. So it was like so awkward. We're exchanging numbers. He didn't even know my number. He's like, what's your name again? And I was like, oh, this is fucking awkward. I get into the taxi. Then the guy that had booked me for the gig was like, Ashley, we've been ringing you. Are you okay? We didn't know if you got home. And I was like, yeah, I actually went home with your best friend last night. I'm really sorry. This is totally unprofessional. I know you'll never book me for a fucking gig again. And he was like, oh my God, I'm so happy for you. He's such a lovely man, whatever. Went home. It looked like I had fucking impetigo on my chin. It was obviously friction burn from the kissing. And honestly, the kissing wasn't aggressive, but you know, he had like stubble. So it literally made
Tash rash.
Tash rash. I had to go into work the next day. When I tell you, you would have seen it. It was impetigo. Everyone was like, what the fuck is on your chin? I was like, I just had a facial the other day and she just went a bit hard with the salts. They were like, what fucking salts was she using on your chin? They were like, and honestly, and I said to one of the doctors, I was like, oh my God. He was like, that's fucking impetigo. I was like, that sounds awful.
Impetigo sounds like
it sounds tiger. It sounds like a vicious STI that you're going to die from. Like, and I was like, oh my. So then I had to keep a mask on, but then I was going to Glastonbury with this crust on my face. But then the day before I went to Glasgow, he was like, let's go for dinner.
So
met him for dinner. Bear in mind, I'd worked a whole 12-hour shift, and that day he messaged me going, we'll go for dinner, but it is very late to be having dinner because indigestion kicks in after 9:30. Why the fuck are you telling me this? So anyway, we went for dinner. I met him, gorgeous looking, handsome. He was like something from the set of like main Chelsea or like Victorian kind of esque, you know, like that hair tanned, lovely. He got a full, he was like, I'm starving, I'm going to get the lamb shank. I was fucking famished, but I was also so nervous. I was like, I'll just have the heritage tomatoes, please. He was like, okay, literally it was like one tomato. I was like, oh, like that's fine. Ate it, finished. And I remember just, it was very, like, it was so sterile, the date. Like, I asked him at one point, what's your favorite cheese? And I was like, well, I'm clearly really stuck to chat about things. And he's like, I'll just get out my phone there because I was in France last week and I had 5 different cheese I love. And I was like, too much with the fucking, don't, like, calm down. So anyway, he paid for everything. And he was like, I think we should go on like a psychedelic walk together because I've really got into my psychedelics. I was like, well, clearly having a breakdown because if you're 53 and wanting to take psychedelics with me on a second date, like, are you okay? And I was like, why have you never been married? He was like, you know, I had trouble with my father. I was like, here we fucking go. My mother, like, and I was sent off to boarding school, then went to Eton, and like I retired at 37. And I'm like, and then he was like, and then one year I just decided like I'm definitely a narcissist. And I went to therapy over that. And I was like, you're honestly scaring me.
Trauma dumping.
So I was like, stop telling me that. Anyway, I was like, we better go. He's like, yeah, it's very late. He was like, I'll drop you to Victoria. Do you mind getting the rest of the way home? So he dropped me 20 minutes to the station. And then it's like driving you 5 minutes down the road and going, I'm not going to drive you any further because it's too much effort. So bear in mind, this guy doesn't work. So after that, I was like, I can't. There's a reason why you're single. And it was kind of exciting to be like, I'll date a rich millionaire man in his 50s, but like you'd want to be brain dead. Like the older the men get, like, and if you're single at that level and you've never lived with a woman, like it's on you because they're all stuck in their ways. Like, what do you do with your life every day? Going to yoga and going for walks? No, so
sad existence.
It's sad.
Your
Sorry, that was
such a great storyteller.
No, it's long.
No,
sorry, that was very long.
There's editing involved, no problem.
Yeah, it's very.
We'll wrap it up. So, as I ask every guest at the end of every episode, give us a solid piece of dating advice.
I think get off the apps and chat to people in real life. No matter how awkward you feel, just go up and like just ask a simple question. And getting off the apps, if we all rebel together, we're going to go back to the times before the apps where people actually just met each other organically. And if we all do it, I think, you know, it'll be a better place.
Stunning. And that's what we're going to do this evening.
That's what we're going to do.
We're going to wrap downed
that point. Downed it.
We're going to down the point now.
That's we're going to. By the way, you have to, while you do that, actually, do you mind getting a picture of us as we're like chatting?
Oh, I did. I got it.
Oh, you got it. Hang on. I'm going to wrap it up there. Sit back there. It's like, right, lads, we're going to wrap it up there. Thank you so much for listening. And Aisling, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you so much. Sorry.
I thought you were about to shake my hand.
Oh, it's
Thanks
shaking. Thank
Just
you.
straight all together.
I feel like the Pope
Right, lads, we'll wrap it up there.
or the Lord
and-
Mayor.
The
Lord Mayor.
Lord Mayor Clark. Thanks for listening, lads. And you can catch me on Instagram, datinginberlin_. And if you also want to come on the show, you can DM me or Gmail me. Email me at datinginberlinbook@gmail.com. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.